Well, this is it. This is the true final chapter, and this time, there's no resurrection. I know I got that from Infinity War, but the point is, this is the final chapter. No Giga, no Shonen Jump, no sequel, at least for the time being, nothing. This is the finale. This is where it all ends. And I gotta say, I freaking love it. I love the ending. I love the fact it didn't have to do the usual ending that a lot of series do. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the epilogue that goes to 5,000 years later. Now, of course, it is debatable if this is the perfect ending that Gintama fans deserve. If this is the best ending you could ask for. It's all debatable. But I can say this is the ending that definitely was satisfied for many fans, including myself. I'm definitely was satisfied with this. I was laughing, I was teary. I really love the ending. The thing I like about this ending is the fact that it doesn't have to go to the time skip. It takes place in the exact same timeline. Maybe a couple of days later, maybe a few weeks later, whatever. It didn't need to do the epilogue. It didn't need to show who won the pairing war. It doesn't need to act like it's advertising for the next series, for the next generation, like how Naruto did it with Boruto. Oh, how Bleach did it, even though the sequel seems like it's never gonna happen, especially a lot of controversial, at least the fans put the controversial with Bleach, Kubo, and Shonen Jump editorial. I don't know if that's even true. That's all speculation, honestly. But regardless, this series didn't need to do that. I'm happy it didn't do that. I guess you consider this is not a perfect ending for those who ship things like Gintoki, Tsukuyo, Gintoki, Otai, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you're a pairing person, you won't get the satisfaction here. I feel like the only pairing that actually got the satisfaction in a different sense, but a more satisfying note, will be Matako, but I'll explain that very soon. The ending of this chapter, it covered two parts. It covered the last remaining part of the long progressive story since the very beginning, where Gintoki and Shoyo have to meet each other in order to say farewell in a peaceful manner, and this one really delivered. Not only it had Yorozuya working together with Shoyo, something I thought I would never see in my life, but it happened. It was such a sweet moment. But not only you got that, you actually have Gintoki come his way to finally let him know that his life has seen happiness and his life will be fine for the rest of his time. Despite that he lost Tatsuki, despite he lost Shoyo in upcoming pages, he still managed to say his farewell in a more peaceful manner. It's a way to say, we have hardships, we went through hell, we gone through hell, and then you were brought back to see the real ending, that everything will be fine. It makes a very touching moment, especially when you have Shoyo, the guy who did not want it to be immortal anymore, now felt like he would love to stay alive longer just to see more of the lifetime. I know a lot of people were afraid that Shoyo would live, and it seems like, he'd be the coolest guy ever, something that I always joke about in Naruto or any series, but this one works perfectly. Even though he wouldn't live long enough because the whole Atana destruction and whatnot, he still managed to get a good farewell. It's kind of like how Naruto did it in the final war arc in their story, but the difference is, they did it with characters that really didn't need to see a good swan song. Instead, they needed to remain the same way how they ended. Maybe with some exception, but there are a lot of characters that could have just left alone because how the ending was either tragic, well written, or whatever. And then when they brought them back, it's like, why did you mess up the winning formula? In this one, it makes a lot of sense because we know Shoyo was a good guy. We know this character named Usuro or character named Shoyo was always a mixed bag. I don't know if you want to call it pun intended or not, but the point is, he's always a different character. So when you got to the sense of a person that really cared about humanity, so we wanted to see that one more time. And Gintoki needed the ending he deserved because Gintoki lived through hell ever since he killed his own master, who he loved like father, like son. It's such an excellent way to make atonement. At least he finally got to tell him that he will be fine for the rest of his life. Now, Kazuha, you could argue he didn't get that much in there, but I love the fact he did interact with Shoyo through the TV. That was a great way to do it, and I did like how he acted like a disciple when he decided to wait for Gintoki to finish his job, finish the fight. It shows you how much he really cherished the lessons and how much he cherished the family that he was with. We don't get to see his reaction with Tatsuki. You get the sense that he knows already that things didn't go well as they hoped, and they're gonna live through it because the family, the silver soul, will keep on going, keep on firing. I just love the whole Gintoki reaching to Shoyo scene. There's a lot of great scenes, but it's just a long chapter, and it gets really long by the time when we get to the sequence with the Tokyo and the memory that Yorozuya left for Tama. This scene was really great. There's a lot of things to appreciate, whether it's the comedy, the drama, the lessons, everything about the ending with Tama. I thought it was a great way to have Tama to be the one to wake up so late, up to the point that they're in a new era. And I thought to myself like, wow, that's a smart idea, but at the same time so sad. I felt like I saw this from a movie or an anime or somewhere else. I remember there's something like that, like it would take a long time for you to be revived. When they finally revive, it's already like far deep in the future. And I thought it was a great way to start the epilogue. What I like about this scene is that it has a lot of fun comedy. I love the fact they actually make fun of plenty of endings. They made fun of like the ending where everybody dies. I mean, hey, here's a great timing because Netflix brought Evangelion. What a way to celebrate. Then again, it doesn't have the movie, so anyway. So you got that kind of ending, and then you got like ending that's very biased. Like this character doesn't get that much, but this character, he gets everything. He gets the love interest, he gets the fame, he gets the greatest ending you could ask for one character. It's like the biasness in there. Then you got characters that gets killed off. Then you got endings that's like, hey, we're starting a new series with Shinshin Gumi. I'm like, what is happening? Everybody wants their own ending now. Kazuha has his moment in the first half. The second half, he's just a troll. He's just a running gang. That's how he is. You know how he is. Kazuha has always been like this. What it makes it amazing is like you still get to see the other characters and their end game. Everybody is finally getting their ending. When you really think about it, as soon as the time skip happened back in, I forgot what chapter, everybody ending is already there. With few exceptions. Shinshin Gumi didn't have the real closure because it sounds sad, yet at the same time hilarious, especially with the whole Sarum, the wedding, that whole thing was like, what the hell? When you really think about it, a lot of epilogues were actually epilogues for a lot of characters like Tsukuyo, Otai. All you need to see is how everybody can finally get back together and relax as family, as friends, the good days. So Shinshin Gumi got their good ending, where everybody finally got back together, where everybody are back in a good manner. Same thing for Yorozuya. I also like the fact that Sakamoto managed to do one good deed. He couldn't do that one good deed back in the first half, which is hilarious because he actually would have laughed his ass off. It was like, oh wow, Gintoki actually died. Oops. That's messed up but hilarious at the same time. But I thought it was a great way to show how you appreciate other characters. You got like Kamui living up to the world, even though he keep making up BS dreams and stuff like that. But he still had the ambitions. I do like the Umiboza part, even though it is hilarious with the whole boating part. But I do love the fact that Umiboza walks out and feels very happy that his family is doing perfectly fine. They're smiling. They're living a good life. I like that small bit. Now, towards the end, it gets sad because we're starting to see the series closing down. And you have Shinpachi and Otai at the gravestone of their father. It's like the full circle. So now everything is finally coming to an end. And one thing that really sticks out is Kiitai. Personally, if you were to ask about the pairing stuff, I thought Matako got the actual end part. Let me try to elaborate as best as I can. The thing about the ending with her, we know that she loves Tatsuki, but it's sad that Tatsuki has died. What Kiitai wanted to do now is atonement. They wanted to redeem themselves. They believe that Shoyo may have done one final thing for Tatsuki with Hatana. They believe that Shoyo may have saved him, like give him one opportunity. That ends up being true. Finding the baby, basically Tatsuki has been reborn, which I thought that was a really sweet and nice ending towards Kiitai, because personally, I believe Kiitai deserve a second chance. They have messed up a lot of things. They have done bad deeds. Tatsuki has done a lot of bad deeds. but he wanted to have a second chance. Well, he would have liked to have a second chance, but his life is already set for a dead path. And it was already a sad ending as it was. So him being resurrected by Shoujo, it was a great miracle. It's because it's one of those cases where you have done a lot of bad things. And some characters deserve a second chance. I know a lot of people would like to say like, well, when you don't have a second chance, in real life, that's true. If you die, you die. It's sad, but that's real life. In media, you could do a lot of things as long as it really fits the narrative. And to me, it fits perfectly with the narrative because Shoujo is a guy who really wanted to help his students, who really wanted to help anybody as much as he can. And he managed to do so. He sees the light within Gintoki's eyes. He sees that he has found a new happiness, or happiness in general. With Tatsuki, he was stuck in the past. So it was a great chance for to do one thing. That's why when the narrative was talking about a miracle or something that his teacher would do for the student, is just natural, just organic. So it fit perfectly. With Matsuko and Tatsuki, it's basically like restarting. I forgot which anime, movie, or something. Or maybe it was a video game. I remember somebody did this before, where there was a pairing, and the guy dies, or something like that, and he was reborn as a baby. And the girl, the princess, I think it was a video game, she decided to take him and pretty much raise him. I'm not saying she's gonna raise him to make her the love interest. It's more like a very metaphorically or symbolic way to say like this is their child, even though the child is really the love interest or something like that. It's strange, but it works in a way for say this is the pairing ending. And I like it because it doesn't have to make Tatsuki break a character like, oh, I'm a love interest for this girl. It doesn't have to make it very sweet and out of character for the guy. This is the best way to do so. And I thought she had a really great ending. She deserved a second chance. He deserved a second chance. Kiyotai deserved a second chance. I would love to see the epilogue with them and see how they raise Tatsuki to be a better person. Now, when it comes to the very end, it almost felt like a very, very, very sad ending because you had Tama waking up in Tokyo and you would think, this is it. And the only people that are alive in terms of the connection with them are relative, whether it's the son, nephew, niece, whatever. That's how far deep in the future she went. So I was already, tearing up because it's like, damn, this is sad. But this is what happens when you take a long time to wake up. And the way how the narration works, it was really good. It was really sweet. It was really meaningful. You get the idea that everybody will always live under one roof. Even if it's in a different era, even if it's in a different timeline, even if it's a different panel, no matter what, everybody will always be there. I guess I'm trying to hope for Gintoki to have a son and then we could confirm one pairing just for the benefit of doubt, just to end the pairing war. Point is, that's the ending. And then Madao shows up, and that's where you get the idea. He changed the narration because the idea is this is the story about how the era has changed so much that they destroy humankind and their job, livelihood. So therefore, Madao is an unfortunate person that needs help and needs to find his way to bounce back because once again he's poor again. Yorozuya, the real Yorozuya, shows up and pretty much clarified that the narration was altered heavily because Madao wanted to make a very sob story about himself. It was a long segue. The entire ending punchline is all about the narration. What is the perfect way to end it on? What is the perfect lessons to end on? And when you look at the chapter again, everybody was fighting over like, this is my ending. No, this is my ending. No, this ending is the best ending. No, this ending is the perfect way to end. So that's the idea. And Madao got the last laugh until Yorozuya called him out, which is absolutely clever twist. Bottom line, Tama woke up in the time where everybody is still around. The time where you could say is either 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later. I don't know. The point is, it's still in the same timeline that we last saw. The whole thing we have seen, the whole arc we have seen just now, was a big, long epilogue. If you really want to call it an epilogue, you could call it that. It's kind of like Red Dead Redemption. It had an epilogue, and it was long. Well, it was not too long, but it was like a good 15 minutes long, depending how you travel. And then when you see the real ending, Technically speaking, you could say the war was the actual arc, while this one was the epilogue. But you could still call it an arc, let alone call it the entire one big Silver Soul arc. Point is, this is the ending we have been seeing for a while. This is like a slow burn ending. And this is the definitive ending, that no matter what time and era, no matter when or how, no matter if the story has ended, Yorozuya will always be around. And that's what makes it great, because it didn't need to do a time skip. It didn't need to do an epilogue where you see their children, the next generations. All you need to know is life goes on. Even if there's no more trouble, even if there's no more threat, such as Tendoshu, life still goes on because that's the way it is. That's Yorozuya. And that's what makes the ending brilliant, because the story really never ends. We could only stop following because the writer decided to stop making them. And that's perfectly fine. We know for a fact that these characters will live on forever. That's what makes it wonderful. Bottom line, this series was excellent from start to finish. I'm so glad that I got to read this. I'm so glad I got to watch this. I'm so glad I gave it a chance. Even when the anime back then was in 4:3 SD quality, whatever, I didn't care. If I want quality, I will find that quality. If you show me that quality, if you give me that promise of like, this series will be good, this series will get better, this series is awesome, I will take a look. And if I like it, I like it. And I will follow it to the very end. And I'm freaking glad that I did for this series. And that's all I got for this review. I got one more video to present, but it will be done next week. Hopefully I'll be done by next week. I've been so busy with life in general, but this chapter really helped me out a lot. It's not that I have it bad right now. It's more like it's just busy. It's stressful. Chapter like this, series like this, always make you feel happy. And that's what we need from media. That's what we need from fictional work. I will get the video done. It will be my send-off from this series, and I hope you guys will enjoy it when the time comes. What do you think of this final chapter? What more can you ask? Share your thoughts in the comment section. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel, and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.